So Donald Trump has visited East Palestine, Ohio, and people are, well, generally, there are mixed feelings about this visit. A lot of conservatives are, of course, boasting and bragging and happy about it. A lot of liberals or people on the left, Democrats, are saying big whoop, big deal. Kind of like, just going back and forth comparing Joe Biden and Donald Trump. And yeah, I just have to say a few things about this because it's very, very strange to me that how can I say it? I absolutely cannot stand the fandom of Donald Trump. I'm gonna start it right there. Um, Initially, back when Trump was running for the first time in 2015, 16, that time, I was totally turned off by the weird fandom that people had of him. I didn't think too much of it back then though. And then obviously he won and we went through everything that we did under his, term. And I really started to understand how strongly people felt about him. Well, fast forward to now, and the way that people who support Donald Trump treat him as if he is the only person who can save America is very problematic because, one, just if you're a man and you think that there's only one man who can save you and it's not yourself, then, well, that's problematic. And I understand that when we're talking about saving America, it's not as simple as saving one person. So you have to think about who can do that for an entire country. But if you believe that there's only one man who is, will be, was ever capable to do that, then you're setting yourself up for failure because that man's going to die one day. And then what happens after that? There have to be at least multiple people who are of the ilk of this person if the culture is as pervasive or as important as you say it is. Meaning that if Donald Trump is literally the only person espousing his ideals that is suitable to run for a political office, then that means that his ideals don't appropriately represent the country. It's as simple as that. And I'm not trying to sit here and say that like we aren't in a interesting place as a country as to where some of the things that maybe don't align with what America is representing currently are not necessarily bad things just because of that. I mean, humility, shame, like a lot of these things that make you work on yourself and stuff like that are not represented in current America. So I'm not saying that just because Donald Trump is not as popular. I'm not trying to say he's not, because he's obviously massively popular. But if the things that he's saying don't vibe with most of America, it doesn't mean that he's wrong. It means that he's not going to accomplish his mission of becoming the leader of America. It's not going to work. But most importantly, I was just speaking in general about any person who thinks that there's only one human who can change America. Now, thinking that somebody's the best suited to change America is another story. But I also don't believe that Donald Trump fits that description either, because he's very old. And I don't care about but you see how spry he is, and he doesn't even trip when he walks into the McDonald's. I don't care. I don't care about that. I think it's crazy that America has convinced ourselves that we have to choose from the bottom of the barrel in this way. It's like, no, there's only Joe Biden and there's only Donald Trump. And then we get this tunnel vision about these two human beings who neither one of them should be or should ever be the president again. Neither one of them. They're too old. If it was true for Joe Biden, it's true for Donald Trump. And I'm not saying that every person is going to have the same level of cognitive function just because they're close to the same age or older or younger than one another. But step back, take a breath, take the blinders off, and ask yourself, why are these the only two candidates that people are talking about? Pardon me, I've just been having this thing in my throat lately. Pause, but actually pause in conversation too, because, but Jordan, there isn't just one candidate. There's also Shmami Wami, Rami Shmami Nami, whatever. I'm telling you right now, I'm not even paying attention to that person. And I'm not gonna say what I want to say. I am just going to say that I need a person who looks like they represent America, is all I'm gonna say. And they could be like, Jordan, you don't look like you represent America. I'm also not running for president. So, but I'm just trying to keep that as clean as possible. Maybe I'll do a little bit more video in depth about what I feel about India, but I'm just gonna say, we need a president who looks like they represent America just as much as they do represent America. And Shmagamami, not the one for me personally. That's my personal opinion. If you want to vote for Shmaganami, go ahead, Kurosawa. But there's another knight shining through the darkness, coming up from hell itself. That's right, Florida. No, I'm just kidding about that. But Ron DeSantis is my top candidate. I have not been shy about that at all. And notice why he's my top candidate, because I wasn't even speaking about him until everybody else was throwing him in there. So many people want to pit him against Trump. So many people are trying to put out information to make him look worse or look bad or say, oh, look at this unfit candidate. But you know the funny thing about that? Ron DeSantis hasn't announced that he's running for president yet. And I know that everybody's like, oh, dude, he's basically in there at this time. All he's done, it just hasn't been officially announced yet. And that's my point. That shows you how strong of a candidate he is. You want him to be president, except for the Trumpers, the real ones who are just like, if it's not Trump, it's nobody else. The ones who are literally destroying, like there are conservatives and Republicans who would rather see the party destroyed forever and never have any chance to win. I'm not saying rebuild something in its place, just destroy it, then give somebody else an opportunity to shine. Like, it's so weird. That's idolatry. And I think it's extremely ironic because a lot of the people in Trump's base claim to be religious, specifically Christians. And if you're a Christian, you should know that you're not supposed to place idols before God, and you're definitely not supposed to make idols in men. But that's exactly what they're doing. That's exactly how they treat Trump. The way that they treat Trump is like an idol. Now, I've been going off on just speaking generally. Let's talk about East Palestine. The guy showed up. He touched grass there. He gave out McDonald's and hats. All of that is cool. All of that is needed. All of that was necessary. I won't say necessary. All of that was helpful. Because I can't say necessary. Then we should all be bringing one Big Mac to East Palestine. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it was necessary. But it was definitely helpful. It was cool to see. It's not presidential. What I mean by that is that was just a billionaire, millionaire, billionaire, an heir, a person with a lot of money going to a town and offering them some relief after a tragedy. If the CEO of Coca-Cola went and did the same thing, I would not be like, he should be the president now. I would say, oh, that was a very nice gesture from a person who has a lot of money to do that. I'm sure a lot of his client base or like a lot of his consumer base is there. If they died, they could not sell them Coca-Cola products anymore. Okay. And I'm not saying that it's strictly business. There is humanity in this, right? And that's awesome. But none of that means, oh, president time. None of that means I'm going to vote for him. Like, I legitimately saw people, I'm going to specifically say his name, Mark Lobliner. Totally a natural body, by the way, totally a natural figure. If you ever seen him before, you know he earned that body, definitely, just like Liver King. But anyways, Mark Lobliner was like, oh, I've been anti-Trump in the past, but this visit to East Palestine won me over. It's like, that's all it took to win you over. That doesn't make it a bad thing. Notice how I'm not being a hater. I'm not trying to say that I didn't want Trump to do that. I just think that it is not connected to his presidential campaign at all. Like, if that's him campaigning, then that is actually a bad thing. But if he was just doing that out of the kindness of his heart, then that's a good thing. And it's the catch-22 of people saying that because he's doing it out of the kindness of his heart is why he's a presidential, potential. And it's just like, that makes no sense, because if he was doing it because he wanted to be the president, that would make it all contrived and worthless in that opinion. Like, you know what I'm saying, in that point. So which one is it going to be? But my thing is to not tell you to vote for or to not vote for Trump. I'm telling you that I am 1000% not voting for Trump. I am 100% going to vote for DeSantis as long as he actually becomes a candidate, if he decides that he wants to beat Donald Trump, because that is what is going to happen. But it's really just telling you guys to get the, like, why? And I've only been talking about Trump in this video because I think that the people who are on that side are more in tune with what is good for America. But believing that only one man can accomplish that makes you just as silly as the people who are supporters of Joe Biden. I don't even talk about them because if you are in support of that, you're a maniac. Like, you have to be a maniac to be like, no, Joe's doing a good job and I definitely vote for him again. Why even address a person like that? So if you ever think that I'm one-sided because I only speak on these conservative candidates and things and my thoughts and opinions on them, that's because what the heck do I have to say about Joe Biden? I'm not a little kid who wants to sit here and be, oh, president fell down. Like, it's so crazy that grown men spend all day making fun of a bump on this guy's forehead. Like, I mean, to be honest with you, you blame Joe Biden on why things are messed up in America. But the fact that men have time to sit down and tweet jokes about why Joe Biden has a bruise on his forehead, you are the reason that there are things wrong with America. You are. Like, you petty, weird losers in the internet space are the reason why the United States of America is in a messed up position. So I try to come here on the camera, bare it all, no production, just speaking my mind to let you guys know that you don't have to be on one team or the other. This stuff is so annoying. I just want you guys to understand how it looks from the outside so that you can truly break out of the echo chamber. Now, notice how these are all the people who are like, it's funny because anti-woke people, so woke was originally, coined to say, I know the truth about what's going on around me in the world, right? So it's funny that the people who are conservatives and neoconservative, like the right now, which contains a vast majority of moderates, middle people like myself are getting pushed right. A lot of those people are anti-woke, even though technically they are woke because they're seeing the truth about what's going on around them. That's why the whole terminology woke is silly, because if you call yourself woke, it's just lame. It's contrived. It's like calling yourself an alpha or something like that. It's stupid. It's silly. But I'm saying all this to say that they act the exact same way. They act woke, like they act like we're the only ones who know the illuminated, esoteric truths of the world, and everybody else are just fools. And it's just, the world does not work that way, man. And these are the people who are claiming that, hey, debate me, bro. They won't come debate me, bro. They won't come have a conversation. These people don't want to have a conversation about, dude, debate me, dude, bro. And it's just like, y'all don't even have the energy that makes a person want to come talk to you, let alone debate you. But I digress. Trump visiting East Palestine, Ohio, in closing, was an awesome thing. I will never vote for Donald Trump to be president, and I hope that he continues to do wonderful acts and wonders and perform miracles across the lands, just like Jesus Christ did. And you, his followers, will wash his feet and bathe him in robes of oils and garlands and so on and so forth into the sunset. But for me, I want an actual candidate who, is doing something like politically, like not just like Big Macs and Red Hats. But that's me. I guess I just have I'm high maintenance or something like that. I'm not satisfied with Big Macs and Red Hats, but